Thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. My name is Felicity Ezewike with the news. Officials from the Health Ministry said 4 people have tested positive for Ebola in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, just days after another outbreak that killed 33 people in the northwest of the huge country was declared over. 20 people have died from hemorrhagic fevers in a densely populated area near the town of Beni, close to the Ugandan border, the ministry said in its statement without saying when these occurred. The ministry said there was no evidence linking this outbreak with the last one, which began in April and occurred over 2,500 kilometers away. A team of 12 experts from the Health Ministry will arrive in the zone on Thursday to set up a mobile lab, the ministry said. This is the Central African country's 10th outbreak of Ebola since 1976, when the virus was discovered near the river in the north. Congolese and international health officials deployed an experimental vaccine during the last outbreak, which helped contain its spread after it reached a large river port city. Ebola, believed to be spread over long distances by bats, causes hemorrhagic fever, vomiting and diarrhea, and is spread through direct contact with body fluids. It often spreads to humans via infected bushmeat. At least one person has been killed by Zimbabwean soldiers following clashes with opposition forces. Automatic gunfire was heard on the streets of the Zimbabwean capital, Harare, on Wednesday after opposition supporters clashed with police. An army helicopter was also seen flying in the skies, according to 2 Reuters witnesses. Police had earlier fired tear gas to disperse stone-throwing protesters in Harare on Wednesday, as the main opposition leader accused the ruling party of trying to rig the results of the Zimbabwe's election. Crowds burned tires in the center of the capital, Harare, blocking some streets and engaging in running battles with police, who fired water cannon to disperse the protesters. The leader of the opposition movement for democratic change, Nelson Chamisa, said on his Twitter account that he has won the popular vote in Monday's parliamentary and presidential election, in which he faced off against Mugabe's successor, Emmerson Mnangagwa, from the ruling ZANU-PF party. Mnangagwa also took to Twitter calling for calm and urging patience before the results were announced. Meanwhile, the Justice Minister, Ziyambi has said that the army has been deployed on the streets of Harare in order to restore peace and tranquility. He also said he is not aware of anyone injured by the army. Still on the Zimbabwe elections, the Electoral Commission chairperson has said the first presidential results could be announced on Thursday, even as the EU observer mission warned that delays could negatively affect credibility for the vote. Priscilla Chigumba, who was taking questions from journalists after announcing the final results of the National Assembly vote, explained that the Commission has been overwhelmed by the unprecedented number of presidential candidates. She said, and I quote, "While all the results from the polling stations across the country are now available at the National Tally Center, agents of all the 23 presidential candidates must verify all the V11 forms before national tallying and announcement can be made." Chigumba added that the results could be further delayed by the fact that some results that were posted outside polling stations have been disputed by some agents. Opposition Malawi Congress Party has said it is backing human rights defenders' bid for Speaker of Parliament Richard Msowoya to summon an emergency parliament meeting to consider impeaching President Peter Mutharika. Esinhoa Makaka, the party Secretary General, said the party is ready to start a process of impeachment over his involvement in the 2.7 billion Kwacha Malawi Police Service fraud. He said it only requires providing a member of parliament who can lodge the motion, and that MCP is ready to provide a legislator to submit a notice of motion to impeach the president. We cannot sit and watch while the president aids in milking an already thin cow that is Malawi Malawians are suffering as a result of corruption, Nkaka added. Banks are quoting jobs as they seek to align their operations with the new economic realities and cope with declining profit margins. Profit margins. Profit went down from the 438 billion shillings in 2015 to 423 billion shillings and 286 billion shillings in 2016 and 2017 respectively. First half figures show that profits may plunge further this year. Banks focused on internal consolidation to remain afloat amid declining profits and high levels of non-performing loans. The Citizen analysis shows that the number of jobs in the banking industry dropped by almost 400 during the period between June 2017 and June 2018. Tanzania is home to at least 58 commercial banks. Move to South Africa, where we hear that they will push ahead with plans to amend the constitution to allow land expropriation without compensation, its president announced. In a recorded address, President Cyril Ramaphosa said the ruling ANC will finalize a proposed amendment allowing the move. He said the reform was of critical importance to the economy.
The intention of this proposed amendment is to promote redress, advance economic development, increase agricultural production and food security. It will also transform the unjust spatial realities in urban areas.
I believe land expropriation without compensation is a good thing. That's what the country has been looking for, and the people are asking for it. So why not give what the people are asking for?
On how it's rolled out, it depends on what land is targeted and how it is done. It may very well be that it compensates or it brings people into land ownership in respect of land that will not compromise food security in the country.
Actually, we have been waiting for this for a long time as the poor of the poorest, because and then this issue of the investors will go away is not true.
In Nigeria, a high court sitting in Makurdi has restrained the 8 suspended members of the Benue State House of Assembly from proceeding with the impeachment process they initiated under Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom. The presiding judge, Justice Teresa Igoche, on Wednesday restrained the suspended lawmakers from sitting and upheld their suspension, pending the determination of the motion on notice. The new Speaker of the Assembly, Titus Uba, said with the order, they expect the police and other security agencies to vacate the premises and stop interfering in their legislative business. And our President, Muhammadu Buhari, will begin another round of vacation from Friday, August 3rd. The Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, disclosed this in a statement made available to journalists on Wednesday. Adesina said Buhari would be away for 10 working days. He said the Vice President will stand in as acting President during the period. And moving swiftly to other matters, the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal has defected from the All Progressive Congress APC to the People's Democratic Party. He announced his defection at a press briefing at the Government House, Sokoto, Nigeria, as hundreds of supporters were at the Government House to declare their support for him. The APC National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi has tendered his resignation to the party. This is according to a statement he issued in Abuja on Wednesday. Also taken to his own verified Twitter account, Bolaji said, and I quote, "In view of the recent political developments in the country and within the All Progressive Congress, I have decided to resign my position as the National Publicity Secretary as well as my membership of the party with immediate effect from today. In the last few days, I have had to endure the flagrant assumption of my role as the spokesman of the party in a manner that I consider unbefitting of a ruling party and inconsistent with my ethical standard." End of quote. Still on defections, 23 out of the 24 members of the Kwara State House of Assembly, Nigeria, on Wednesday defected from the ruling All Progressive Congress to the People's Democratic Party. Only the member representing Ojomu Balogu constituency of Offa local government area said APC had been fictionalized. The defection of Nigeria's President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, to the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, has continued to generate reactions across the country. Our correspondent, Aminu Tambuwal, gives us a short analysis of this move, which is expected to affect political calculations ahead of the 2019 general elections. His report.
The defection of the President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, did not come as a surprise to keen observers. This is because his travels started shortly after his election as the President of the Senate. The first controversy was the office of the Deputy Senate President. This was claimed by Senator Ike Ekweremadu from the opposition People's Democratic Party. This, the APC and President Muhammadu Buhari said was unacceptable. And the president stated clearly that the election of Dr. Bukola Saraki was not by the rules. Now, shortly after this statement, we saw the Code of Conduct Tribunal arraign Dr. Bukola Saraki on charges of false declaration of asset while he held sway as governor of Kwara State. This was over 8 years ago. Now, that case went up to the Supreme Court, which was later thrown out by the Apex Court. We had seen in the last few years rift between the executive and the legislature, and many believe that Dr. Bukola Saraki, the President of the Senate, was in a way sympathetic to the opposition People's Democratic Party. In the last few weeks, we have seen defections within the Senate from the All Progressive Congress to the People's Democratic Party. Now, this clearly paved the way for his defection, because in one day, we saw the APC move from majority in the Senate to minority in the Senate. Now, if you go by the Senate rules says that the Senate president must be from the party in majority. Now, his defection yesterday, which first came via his Twitter handle, and then a press statement, which was later signed by the President of the Senate, said the APC did not meet the yearnings of millions of Nigerians, highlighted and cited issues, cited cases of insecurity, economic development, and national cohesion as one of his reasons. He said after consulting with his constituents, it was time to change ship and move from the APC to the PDP. Now, this definitely changes permutations ahead of the 2019 general elections, because we saw that shortly after his defection, the governor of Kwara State also defected to the opposition People's Democratic Party. Plus TV Africa is following up on these developments and will update you as more information comes in. Aminu Tambuwal, Plus TV Africa.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja today nullified the April 25, 2018 judgment of the Federal High Court, which had struck down the National Assembly's election reordering provision of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2018. Although the controversial section of the bill has since been removed, the Court of Appeal held that the Federal High Court lacked jurisdiction to entertain the suit in the first place. In the lead judgment read by President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Zainab Chua, who led a 5-man panel of the court, said the suit was premature as a bill could not be challenged in the law court until it became an act. The court also ruled that the Accord Party, which instituted the suit before the Federal High Court in Abuja, lacked the local standing to file the action. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the August 17th deadline for the continuous voter registration, CVR, will not be extended. The Commission said the exercise would resume after the 2019 general elections scheduled from February 26th and March 2nd. Mr. Mohamed Bijan, Public Affairs Officer of INEC in Gombe State, told newsmen on Wednesday that the exercise would henceforth include weekends and public holidays to allow for more people to register beginning from August 1st. He said INEC was not planning to extend the exercise beyond August 17th as being anticipated in some quarters. He said the commission decided to suspend the exercise till next year to enable it to produce permanent voter cards, PVCs, for distribution. When we return, we will bring you the latest development on the US-China trade war and more. Stay with us. US President Donald Trump defended his trade policies on Tuesday in a speech in Florida and said American farmers hurt by retaliatory tariffs from China were bearing up. In a sign he is feeling some political heat on the issue, Trump's rally speech in Tampa contained many elements familiar to his political events. Several hecklers were ejected and the crowd at the state fairgrounds was big and loud. Trump attacked public opinion polls, except one that said he was popular among Republicans.
And I want to thank our farmers. Our farmers are true patriots. Because China and others have targeted, remember this, have targeted our farmers. Not good, not nice. And you know what our farmers are saying? It's okay. We can take it. These are incredible people. We can take it. You know why? They target our farmers because they know it's one of our great strengths. It's us. It's not me. It's us all together. They know it's one of our great strengths. Democrats are even trying to give illegal immigrants the right to vote. They want to give them the right to vote. And what about all of those people that are waiting online for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, trying to get into our country? They don't have the right to vote. We believe that only American citizens should vote in American elections.
Language of the United States will not benefit anyone, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said on Wednesday, August 1, as relations between the NATO allies soared over the case of a U.S. pastor jailed in Turkey on terrorism charges. Speaking to reporters in Ankara, Erdogan said Turkey would not make compromises regarding the independence of the judiciary and said the remarks of the evangelist zonist mentality in the United States was unacceptable. Afghanistan will hold presidential election on April 20th, 2019, 6 months after parliamentary and provincial council polls, the country's electoral body announced on Wednesday. During a televised news conference, Independent Election Commission spokesman and Commissioner Hafezullah Hassemi said security and funding, as well as the short time frame between elections, would present the biggest challenges to the polls. Almost 14%, or 56 of more than 400 districts, are fully controlled by the Taliban, while 30% are contested, according to figures by the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction, published on Tuesday. Long-delayed parliamentary and provincial council elections in the war-torn country are scheduled for October 20th. Parliamentary elections should have been held in 2015. We'll bring you business reports after this break. Just stay with us. A turnover of 86.39 trillion naira in fixed income and currency market transactions has been posted by the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. This was recorded as its turnover in the first half of 2018. Breaking the turnover down, there was a growth of 28.33% against the 67.37 trillion naira recorded in 2017. According to the report, transactions in treasury bills accounted for 34.93 trillion naira. Foreign exchange accounted for 20.91 trillion naira of the total value, also accounting for 76.32% of the overall turnover in the market by the top 10 dealing member banks, among which were Stanbic IBTC Bank, Access Bank PLC, and United Bank for Africa PLC. On the activities of the Nigerian Stock Exchange from today, our business correspondent Aminu Tambuwal brings us up to date on all the trades and deals that took place.
The Nigerian stock market nosedived with a 1.05% decline in its all-share index, closing at 36,628.78. Leading the list of top gainers was Total, with a 7 naira rise at 3.83%, and Okomo Oil also gained 6 naira 30 kobo, which was an 8.43% rise from its previous close. Nigerian breweries declined by 5.71%, a 6 naira drop, and international breweries had a 9.73% decline, which was a 3 naira 60 kobo drop. Leading the top trades was Zenith Bank, which traded a volume of 94.84 million, valued at 2.185 billion naira. On sectorial indices, NSE Oil and Gas and NSE Insurance rose, while NSE 30, NSE Banking and NSE Industrial dropped. Equity capitalization stood at 13.263 trillion naira, with a total of 3,375 deals. Irene Ubani, reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Still ahead on Plus TV News is our roundup on entertainment and sports. We're back in a moment. Stay with us.
And in entertainment, veteran singer, actress, activist and public administrator Onyeka Onwenu visited Plus TV Africa today as a guest on our entertainment news program Tea Time and drove the point home regarding the biggest challenges facing the girl child in Nigeria.
I think the challenge lies with society itself. There has to be a shift. The shift is happening, but ever so gradually. We have to quicken it up because we're talking about the future of this country. When you recognize the fact that these young girls are going to carry children and raise children who are Nigerians, and so if we don't take care of them, we are really bringing something on ourselves that we may not be able to handle when time comes. When I was at NCWD as the DG, we have a day when we celebrate the girl child in September, the International Day of the Girl Child. And we had this seminar and we brought the children from different schools and we said, okay, we're going to have a pre-seminar seminar. This is yours. We want you to tell us, where does the shoe pinch? You will be interested to know that even things like we can't go to school because we do not have sanitary pad. And they don't know what to do about it. The schools don't have toilets for girls. So the girls would stay at home for that period. And pretty soon she drops out. I mean, what is a simple thing as sanitary pad for a young girl?
News, the very best in sports right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko. In athletics, Africa's 200 meters record holder Blessing Okagbare has pulled out of the 100-meter and 200-meter race at the 21st Athletics Senior Championships in Asaba, Nigeria. And Okagbare was inducted into the African Athletics Confederation's Hall of Fame on Tuesday night, but no reason for opting out has been officially disclosed, and it remains to be seen if she will take part in the long jump event. And Blessing Okagbare has been under harsh criticism from some Nigerian fans over her poor form since the beginning of the season, and her decision to pull out in the last minute will come as a rude shock to many. And for the English FA preparing to bid for the 2030 World Cup, the governing body has agreed to conduct a feasibility work on a potential World Cup bid as the Football Association announces preparing a bid to host the 2030 World Cup. And if the bid is successful, 2030 would be the first World Cup in England for 64 years and the first major tournament for 34 years. Remember, the semi-finals and the final of Euro 2020 will be at Wembley. Any bid would need to secure the nomination of UEFA and the support of a majority of FIFA's 211 member nations. The final decision on whether to bid for the World Cup will be made next year, and if they decide to go ahead, well, they'll be up against stiff competition against Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, which will be bidding jointly for 2030. Morocco, which also has said they will bid, could apply jointly with Tunisia and Algeria. England wanted to host this year's World Cup, but were beaten by Russia. And breaking news for Pierluigi Collina, who used to be a referee all across the world of football. But then UEFA's chief refereeing officer, Pierluigi Collina, has announced his decision to step down from his role for personal reasons. And UEFA has announced that Collina will be succeeded by Roberto Rossetti. The announcement was made at the UEFA's summer refereeing course in Lyon. And Pierluigi Collina was appointed as UEFA's first ever chief referee officer in 2010, following his retirement as a referee in 2005. In that time, he has achieved major advances in the professional handling of referees and overseen, among other important features, the establishment of the Center of Refereeing Excellence, that's at the core. During his tenure, UEFA has created 360-degree monitoring and development programs for officials to improve their technical, fitness, and nutrition standards and ensure the tactical elements and knowledge of teams became part of the referee's preparation for every match. And that's our roundup for Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoku.
Thank you, Udoka. And that's a wrap on our news for this hour. More stories coming your way much later. Do stay with us. My name is Felicity Ezewike. Thanks again for watching.